We are doing all this before debt restructuring. Nombanga to appreciate debt restructuring. Fika bashani. We are not just accommodating chiefs, we are accommodating capassos too at the palace. Institutional palaces. Not where somebody dies, there's a fight, nowhere to operate from. Succession. May not go there, that's for another day. I can go on, colleagues. Let me move quickly through law and order, plus legal reforms. We shall continue walking this path of law and order. There's no walking back. We will reinforce this. We are reinforcing and will continue. If anybody thinks that this is just mere talk, you're on your own. Order in the markets, in the bus stops. Zambians have already forgotten that markets and bus stops were places of blood every week. Zambians have forgotten that pangas were the way we lived in Simonson building area there. It was pangas every day. Every day. It was blood every day. Soweto market there, a widow took 10 boxes of tomatoes to sell. 2 or 3 boxes were grabbed by thugs in the name of a political party. PF to be specific. UPND, if you do that, I'll forget who you are. I'll forget who you are. I have seen some slippages there. Some of our members trying to emulate those bad habits. You will be out of line. The police are instructed. I see the Minister of Home Affairs is here. There is no segregation, law and order. I see a UPND official here. If you encourage our members to do those things, I will forget you. My duty is to save the people of Zambia. That's our constitutional democracy. We didn't like it under PF, we should not tolerate it under UPND. That's the message. That is the message. And there's no decent UPND member who can say they were enjoying what was happening, because they were victims. They were being beaten every day. You wore a red shirt, even a Barclays Bank uniform, you got lynched. APSA. Not Barclays, APSA. You wore a Zanaco red t-shirt, you got lynched. Especially if you walked around Simonson building there. You were dead meat. How can you now want to emulate that? Honestly speaking, Vice President, no one will be allowed to do that in the name of UPND. If you do that, you are not a genuine UPND member. You are masquerading as a UPND member. Because if you are genuine, you know that we suffered a lot. People got beaten there. There's a woman in Lusaka West called Mrs. Lima, who has a store in Soweto. Every time her store was a bloody area, because she's such a tough cookie, that one. You remember a lady in Woodlands who was just trading there, and where the UPND Chitenge, in and out, she was being lynched. Today I'm proud that we've found her better facilities. Personally, I'm giving her support. Such a diligent lady. So don't lie in the name of UPND, don't do wrong things. Deputy Secretary General of UPND, if you encourage our people to do those things, you should not be in that chair. You are the wrong person sitting there. Because we can't encourage our young people to do exactly what we did not like done on us. I'm emphasizing this point. I'm watching, I'm following. Grabbing land from people? No, that's lawlessness. But we work towards creating land for all citizens. Before, you never got land if you are not PF. I understand the pain UPND went through, but it's not just UPND, it's citizens overall. So let's not go back to those days. I'm saying it for the last time. Minister of Home Affairs, that is your domain. You don't need the president to step in. That is your routine responsibility. That's why you're a minister. You are fortunate to be a minister. Out of 20 million people, you're the Minister of Home Affairs, Internal Security. You're a lucky man. You're a very lucky man. Equally, colleagues, no one will break the law in the name of being a political party leader. And when the law visits you, you start saying democratic space is gone. Civil society, don't buy those stories. No one should come to you to agitate you to go in the streets because their democratic rights have been taken away, yet they've broken the law. No. No, 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 no. No, citizens, no. That will not be tolerable, will not be tolerated. Let's work within the law. That's how civilized societies work, within the law. So there's no political party leader, there's no party member or leader of any party, there's no civil society. I must say it here, Vice President, there's no pastor, there's no bishop who breaks the law and believes that they will run to the church to protect them. The law does not recognize a pastor and a reverend, a bishop, including an elder like me in the church. No. Told my wife, my children, you break the law, you go out in the bar. Well, they don't drink. Someday they decide to drink. You go and beat people in the bar. I am the one who will ask the police and remind them to arrest you, but you are my son. I'm not joking here, because I see people think that these are words we play with. No. Law and order. There will be no investment without law and order. Today, people peacefully go to a bus stop, and they've forgotten that Kulima Tower and ZNBC Director General. These are the stories you must go out, the narratives. Go and pick the footage of what was happening there and what's happening now. Then you'll be a relevant national broadcaster. Tell the stories to the people. Going to intercity now, you take it for granted. That's the way it is. No, it was not like that 2 years and 6 months ago. Madam Lois, that's what we should be doing, narratives, showing people. You're not being political, you're telling facts. I hope somebody's listening here. And we should never get back there. That's the point. We should never get back there. It's a no-go area for anyone. In that line, colleagues, Parliament has passed the law, Access to Information Bill, which was never done in 20 years. That bill has been passed. And I'm glad to say to you, I'll be signing it here, right here today. You will be the witnesses. As you know, the president can refuse to sign the law. And when the president refuses, it will not take legal effect. But I'm glad to tell you that I'll be signing it right here, once we're done. This government has passed the Child Code Act. Now it's law, protecting our children. It was never done again over 20 years. Never done. This government has removed the death penalty. Never done since the creation of this nation, even under Roy Welensky in the colonial days. This is the first government to have the courage to do it. Sign that law. This government has removed the criminal defamation of the president. That's why you see people insulting the president every day. My view is that they will get tired very soon. There will be no political mileage. When the law was there was political mileage, because when they insulted the president, the police visited them. Now no one is visiting them. They will become irrelevant. It's their duty to act and conduct themselves properly, maturely. This was resisted in cabinet, but I said, let's do it. Since I'm the guinea pig, let's do it. We've done it. And you see some political party presidents, they've even stopped sending messages of their vision. It's just Shan, Uko, long ones like this. Eh? That's a Tonga expression of big insults, we call them long one. Not necessary. Let's debate on the debt restructuring. Colleagues, the Attorney General's office is being decentralized. It's happening now. I think last month they were opening an office in Chipata. So there will be Attorney General chambers for our people to access law and legal services, not law and order, legal services, closer to them. Happening under this government. Before we were told there's no money. You will always try and squeeze money to apply on your priorities. Because before, a citizen had to get legal support from Attorney General's chambers, had to come to Lusaka. Now, you just go to your provincial headquarters for now. I want to indicate, earlier on I was talking about debt, that we don't want to get to another debt crisis. What was happening in the previous 10 years is that a ministry will procure debt without the Minister of Finance knowing. It's cheap and tepant. No more of that stuff. This government now passed a law to control it. This government to control itself and future governments, that no borrowing willy-nilly will happen again. That law has been passed in Parliament, and we've included a clause that you have to seek parliamentary approval in order to borrow. Is that not good? 2 years, 4 months. 2 years, 4 months. I talked about hooliganism. No room for it from anyone. You can see now, even us in political party leaders, we've become hooligans. Political party leaders have become hooligans. Now, what will become of society? Let me make a point clear. When we say no thuggery in the markets, we are not saying citizens should not trade in the markets. They are all welcome to trade in the markets, and local government must provide more spaces. UPND cadres who are not allowed to operate in the markets, you can go and trade in the market. Any citizen should go and trade in the market. I wanted to make this point clear. But you will not be allowed to beat people in the market. You will not be allowed to take merchandise from a widow in the market. You will not be allowed to levy someone in the market. Only councils or market cooperatives collect levies. That's the message, because people like misunderstanding each other deliberately. We love you, our cadres. I'm a UPND cadre myself. I'm cadre number 1. But why am I not beating people? I'm cadre number 1. Why am I not beating people? Because it's against the law. So anyone should trade in the market. Anyone should use a bus stop. Anyone should get land. But those who got land illegally, it's being taken away. I shouldn't say it will be taken away. It's being taken away. I've signed a lot of cancellations of illegal land, in case you don't know. I have. And when that land leaves the illegal owner, it will be available to all. That's what councils must do now. Give land to citizens. And citizens, when you get land, use it properly. Don't just sell it to a foreigner. If you sell it to another Zambian. After all, the Attorney General and Minister of Justice reminded me that you can't sell undeveloped land. The law does not allow. So I needed to make a clarification, because someone would run a narrative that UPND cadres are not allowed to trade in the market. PF cadres are not allowed to trade in the market. You are in the market as a citizen. And you respect other people in there. Is that difficult, honestly, colleagues? Is that difficult? Why is it being misunderstood? Why? Corruption fight continues. I know some thought that it's losing steam. We are working. Minister of Justice is there. We've just passed 2 pieces of legislation. You can remind me what they are. You can shout there. There's one to do with local courts. Another one, what are those? You can shout a little bit.
The Criminal Procedure Code Amendment Act, the Penal Code Amendment Act, and the Subordinate Court Amendment Act.
3 laws I signed yesterday. Just yesterday. These 3 laws. Thank you, Minister. And these 3 laws now allow us to do things we were not able to do in the last 2 years and 4 months. You will see speed now in the fight against corruption. You will see amendment procedures being amended because the law has been amended. Now procedures such as, if you are engaged in corruption going forward, before it took 20 years. There's a case which was only concluded, which started under the late Mwanawasa. It was only concluded this year. You can count the years. With those 3 pieces of legislation which were standing in the way, and the accompanying procedures now that will be done, operating procedures, guidance notes, if you engage yourself in corruption, or you did, you will now be tried within 5 months. I know there were some who were buying time, and they were even celebrating, throwing parties that, oh, we'll wait because we'll delay in court. And after 2026, Alebwele Lapo will now allow us to continue. There is no Alebwele Lapo. There's nothing like that. There's no waiting. That's the point I'm making. Alebwele Lapo kaniwela if the people want. That's a different subject. The subject I'm confronting now is that there's no waiting for Alebwele Lapo. You will be tried. You are going to be tried now. Within 5 months, the cases will close. Took us long to amend the law. Also, you will notice I've asked the colleagues in these oversight institutions to be organized. There's been a lot more asset recoveries. Not long ago, there were about 7 or 8 expensive properties in Chadley or Munali. How many?
12.
12. I think some of you saw them on social media. A lot of that is happening. This government is focusing on asset recoveries as well, because the value lies there as well. There's a deterrence, but there's also recovery, so that the assets return to you people who are the owners. But we have also put in place a mechanism now to have a proper asset manager. We don't want those properties to rot. We want them to gain value, to earn income. Luckily, all of them are occupied already. I think I'm right. There's rental income. That's your money, which quietly we're recovering. This government is doing a lot of quiet work. We are not as good enough in publicity. We have to change that. Citizens need to know. If the citizens knew the recoveries that we're achieving, bulldozers, graders, knew. See how people are playing with people's money. But they couldn't grade feeder roads, but they were buying graders. Then you ask, why would you buy a grader and park it in your yard? What is it doing in your yard? Because when you took money which is not yours, you didn't know how to use it, isn't it? So you will see speed in there. I want to commit to the citizens. It's happening already. Energy. We've made a lot of moves. Diversifying energy, hydro, solar, all of those. I won't waste your time. We've signed a lot of agreements. Our focus now is to implement. So we can move, our target is energy surplus. For our needs, yes, but for export. Please, citizens, don't resist when you see your country exporting power. It's earning foreign exchange. You can't just be demanding dollars on the demand window and there's no movement on the supply window. The kwacha suffers. We have to export more. Great opportunity. So implementation, Minister of Energy, if you're here. Climate change. Climate change. We created the Ministry of Green Economy, Climate Change, Environment. We were elected chair of the the Africa Group of Negotiators on Climate Change. First year in office, we got elected by the citizens. We were then elected on the African continent to chair. I've been chairing that platform with other African countries working through us. The Minister of Green Economy has been doing the work and his team. And we're proud to say that at the last COP in Dubai, just the one which is concluded, we've been able to move the climate change agenda, including achieving, if you like, the loss and damage fund. Now the Western world who damage the environment more, and I've been talking about setting up a fund. It was never set up. Under our chairmanship, that fund has now been set up, and I think $500 million has gone into it. First time. I want to congratulate the Minister of Green Economy and his team, and his counterparts on the African continent, his counterparts in the global community, who gave us the opportunity to serve for 2 years and to achieve these milestones. What else have we done now? We have agreed that we will not enter into carbon market, carbon credit. Please, media, hear me right. Because the market is not structured. The market is polarized. There's a lot of living value on the table. So we have agreed now that as Africa, under our chair, and the developing world, we will now structure the market, working with the first world, so that we know what to define this market, number one. Number two, we will agree the pricing of carbon. This is not a small issue, colleagues. The pricing of carbon. Today, the price of carbon, if you don't know what you're doing, Bamwewa, you will sign a carbon trade.
This is your summary. It's done.
It's done.
Yes.
You can mark the relevant points.
We have summarized it.
If you just mark the relevant points.
Okay.
Just mark. You can take it away.
Okay.
Mark when you are through. Use this pen. Sorry, we are working in front of you. You can go and mark the key points and bring them. Thank you, Minister. This is the way we are twisting the work in the public sector. Work was always for tomorrow. There's no tomorrow. Tomorrow has its own programs. It's today. So I'm saying the second thing is the pricing of carbon. Bamwewa, if you have a farm or a village where you have a forest some company from the first world will come and say, let's sign a carbon credit. And you sign, and they'll pay you $20. The West is $8 per ton of carbon dioxide. But the price is up to $110 per ton. So Zambians and other countries need protection. If you only sign for $20 per ton, it means literally, $90 has been left on the table. So now the pricing will be clear, number two. Number three, the sharing of the revenue. ZNBC Director General, I watch your news. When you give a news clip that this has been said by X, before that news and the meaning and message is completed, you cut the clip. So why did you alert the viewers that there's this message? Complete the news. I know why people are smiling. I think you agree with me, isn't it? Complete the news. That trading in carbon now be structured, anchored on three things. Clear market understanding. What is the carbon you are trading in? How do you calculate it? What's the price? Which ranges between $8 per ton to $110. We want to get 110. If we fail, we want 100. Three, revenue sharing. The communities that live around there, we must distribute some money to them. That's what we've been working on. And you should see going forward more value, more resources coming into the country as we do climate change mitigation measures. Plant more trees, colleagues. Local government, constituency, families, plant more trees. You see the rain pattern now. You've seen. It's a climate damage, climate change. So, it's very important that we address these issues. Extremely important. Agriculture. Simple, trust, produce more for our own consumption, for the region, for Africa, for the global community. Produce more. That's our agenda. Expanded agriculture support program, you heard about it in the early days of our government. This is what it means, to produce more. We've set targets to produce 10 million tons of maize. Journalists, please. We've set our targets on wheat, clear targets. And to achieve that, we want more investments in agriculture. We are already doing it. How are we doing it? FISIP will continue with improvements. But we have opened what we call the agricultural credit window. It was a story before, it's now in reality. NatSef, APSA, Sanaco, anyone from agriculture here? And many other banks have now uptaken this credit window. And they are lending to support FISIP, to support other farmers. There are 2 million plus farmers who need FISIP. The government cannot, under these conditions, support all of them. We're supporting 1,025,000. 1,025,000. What about the rest credit window? Real. It's not a story. Within the economic difficulties we inherited. Disbursements have started. And we are now saying even civil servants must produce food. When you are in your office, your small holding must be doing something. You must be planting something. You already have a borehole there. That's my request to citizens. You sit on a 10-acre, don't use it as a residence only. You already have a borehole, you have electricity. Irrigate just 1 hectare. Just 1 hectare. Even journalists, just 1 hectare. And we want to increase productivity, produce more per hectare. Instead of 2.8 tons per hectare, this government wants and is working with the farmers and farmers union to produce 7, 8 tons per hectare. With climate change, irrigation is the answer. We still have the water, citizens. And if on 1 hectare you produce 9 tons, as Zambif does, Zambif Mpongwe farms produce 9 tons of maize per hectare. And this year alone, before I go there, and then wheat, second crop, 2 crops per year, same hectare. Before you go out to cut more trees, use the field that you have already to produce more. This year alone, Zambia has produced 40,000 tons of wheat, 10% of the national production, one farmer. Imagine if we had 100 Zambians, would we be having issues with wheat? On the same field, they've now planted maize, and they'll be producing 9 tons or 8 tons of maize per hectare. If you have only 2 hectares, you produce 8 tons, you have 16 tons. How much maize do you eat in your households? How much millet do you eat in your households? This much. This much on 1 hectare you sell. The price of millet will stabilize. That's what we've been saying. Why can't we get that message? Why are we resisting? Because we're used to just sitting and someone is producing, and the farmers produce. You don't want to be paid for their production. You just want to eat. We shouldn't be a nation of consumers. We should be the nation of producers as well, and processors. That's the shift I would like to see in this country. So, that's our thrust. We've improved the price to farmers. Spot payment. Before, you got a voucher and you got paid 6-7 months after delivering your crop. Now you get paid there and then. A good price, you get paid there and then. We planned this. It hasn't come by chance. We planned it. It's happening now. If it wasn't the poor season this year, citizens were geared to plant more. And I'm still encouraging the rain areas, plant more. Northern, Luapula, Muchinga, Northwestern, northern parts of Central Province. Journalists, you can produce on 1 hectare only, and the excess you sell. You enhance your income from the salary you get as a journalist. And there will be less complaints on social media. That's how other countries have developed. There's no magic. Go to German. I see the German ambassador there. SME sector, the small, medium industry sector in Germany drives the German economy. They supply to the bigger firms within Germany. They export. When you see me going to Germany, going to France, going to Italy, I'm looking for something for the country. I'm looking for something. So that's agriculture. It should be the largest employer. Agriculture is not a pastime. It's a business. It's food. It's exports. When we produce 10 million tons, to give you context, we consume around 3 million tons. The human and animal consumption, 3 million tons. When we get to 10 million tons, we'll be able to sell 7 million tons. We've already got a market. Your government, for the first time, has a market. Before farmers produced, there was no market, and they lost money. Now we've gone out to neighboring countries that stop smuggling. I won't mention names of countries, because it's volatile in some of the countries there. I don't want to be accused of something. I love our neighbors. Give us an order. Don't come and smuggle. We shouldn't be fighting at the border post. They've given us an order, 1 million tons. Not maize, but mealie meal. Now we have no mealie meal to sell to them. We have to produce more. This is what your government is doing. When we sell 7 million tons of maize alone at $500 per ton for the export market, I'm careful with the words I'm using, we will earn, do your calculator, we will earn $3.5 billion of new export revenue from just maize alone. Now we have achieved a point where the price of wheat and the price of maize are at par. That's why you saw that farmers had left maize, had gone to soybeans, had gone to wheat. Now we've brought the market distortions, we've cleaned the market distortions, and you make money on maize. So go and do it. Civil servants, we've given you a loan scheme where you are only paying 9% interest to invest in agriculture. Go and do it. Don't run away from the office and sneak out. Employ somebody on your small holding to produce. Create jobs. Maybe you will learn what it is to run a payroll. Yes, it's important. People learn the basic tools. I tell my children, you must learn Tamanga first. Where you buy cement, where you buy seed, where you buy deep chemical, where you buy. When you learn Tamanga, you will understand the bigger businesses because the theme is the same. These are kids who have gone through university. But I said, no, first, go and buy cement, Chachacha Road. Take this dip to the farm, and you will understand. Because when the worker claims that they're using so many liters of dip, you say, no, Icona, you are lying. In this dip tank, we can only use so much. You learn. So don't steal government time. Employ someone, 1, 2, 3, 4. You become an employer. People will depend on you. You see the difference when you are responsible for people and when you are just earning a salary. You see the difference yourself and you begin to appreciate what needs to be done. Are you not happy citizens? When we came into office, we said we will not continue importing fertilizer. I am proud to say to you today that in this season, we did not import beso dressing. All of it was manufactured in Zambia within the 2 years. 2 years, 4 months, set our eyes on domestic production. We now have a company, Chairman Ambassador, private company, who we encourage, who we are supporting. When we started doing that in 2022 season, people were saying this government is corrupt because we said we'll buy from the local producers, value addition, jobs. Over 1,000 jobs have been created there. And our brothers and sisters are working. And someone raised a finger to say, no, this is corruption. I can't, man. There's no corruption there. It's intentional. It's deliberate to buy from local manufacturers. Positive discrimination. And this year, we have enough. Ask me what next has happened. In COP, 2 weeks ago, or 15 days ago, we were chatting, 5 presidents, we were chatting. President Masiso, Botswana, President Hakainde of Namibia, President Mnangagwa of Zimbabwe, President Nyusu of Mozambique. I forgot, we were 6. President Macky Sall of Senegal, and myself, just chatting before a session. And we started talking about buying from each other. And President Masisi said, HH, can you be fair and praise me? I said, why should I praise you, President Masisi? He says, I imported fertilizer from Zambia, and I'm very happy with the quality of fertilizer from Zambia. It starts from Ichimonwa. Then you take it down to reality on the ground. That's what your government is all about. Under difficulties. Immediately, President Nyusu said, is there more? I would like to place an order. Why do I have to wait for fertilizer from overseas? I said, I'll check for you. President of Namibia said, I too want to buy. President of Zimbabwe said, my brother, you are my neighbor. Why don't you supply me with fertilizer? Isn't that good? We should do more. This lady here went to put a foundation stone on the production of fertilizer plant just after we formed government. And she was criticized. We were criticized. It came from there. This year I went to put a foundation stone for the top dressing. And 2024, the plant will start producing top dressing fertilizer. I invite more investors, foreign investors, Zambian investors, let's work together. But more jobs, more economic contribution. That's what we're looking for. That's where our eyes are. I must also say, by taking that move, in 2022 season, we paid $1,200 per ton for fertilizer. Because of this move, we've now, this year, we're able to pay only around $800 per ton. You work out the numbers. We've saved. That's how an economy is built. There's no other way. Jonah, that's how economies are built, my brother. So we want to see this story. The journalists should help this country to send the right stories, the right narratives out there. That's what we're looking for. ZNBC, Prime, Diamond. We're partners. I am very proud also to announce today, as your servant, that given the climate change issues we had last year and this year now, because last year we had drought and floods in the same season. This year is not promising. We asked some farmers to come on early maize. And I'm proud to say that we're expecting by March somewhere close to 50,000 metric tons of early maize. I'll be going to inspect it in some of the farms who have signed up with the government program to bring early maize on stream without waiting for May and June. We should do more. It's real, it's there. I'd like the journalists to come with me when we take that trip. As they came to, you came with me in Nyimba to launch the planting season. And I said there, and I say it here, there will be no planting season. Every month will be a planting month. Every month will be a harvesting month. I said feasible continue, credit window is here to stay, irrigation is a must. Land use, let's use all our land. Livestock, let's keep it support. Health, Minister, you're here. Health service delivery, we committed to the people. When we came into office, we inherited a difficult situation with drug supply. And it was talk every day. One day I said to the minister there, are you sure you really want to continue as Minister of Health? She's there. And I said that to her. I said, tomorrow I'm coming to your office. I spent the whole morning in her office. Different way of working. And she was very smart. She called in all the provincial, what do you call them, madam? All the provincial health directors were on a virtual platform. And we had a meeting with all of them, plus her PSCs, myself, to say, what is the issue? You are on the ground. They isolated those issues. We began to work on them one by one. And today you sit here, I'm proud to say we sit here. And thank you, Minister, and the team. Thank those people for me. That we have drugs in our hospitals. Today. 2 years, 4 months. It was a cancer in the health sector. We still have a lot of work to do, a lot of work to do, but we're getting there. Shorter delivery times, apply 3 principles: buy at the right price, 2, quality must be right, 3, deliver on time. So what levels of availability are we now? 80 to 90%. And I don't see people now complaining. There will be always 1 or 2 cases out there. It's deliberate, but we can do more. More importantly, I've asked our colleagues in Europe, in Asia, that we don't want to buy from you. Soon we'll stop buying drugs from you. Come and invest here with us in a joint venture. Bring the capital, bring the technology, manufacture here, then we'll do what we've done on fertilizer. We will buy first from local manufacturers. There's a partnership. There is a partnership, colleagues. We'll buy from local manufacturers. More jobs, more business opportunities for supply of goods and services. That's how you grow an economy, difficult as it is, in terms of what we inherited. It's there for everybody to see. We can do that in many other sectors. But also, that's why we're employing more health workers, as what was announced yesterday. We will continue employing more health workers, because there were very few. You can have drugs if the doctor and nurse is not there. You have a problem. If the clinic is not there, if you have no maternity wing, our mothers, I was delivered myself in a grass-thatched house. My grandmother was a midwife. It cannot continue like that. That's why we've set targets of maternity wings at every health center, plus reticulated water. And our mothers can deliver in a healthier environment, save the mother, save the child. This is your government. You may think it's a story, ask her. She's got a database now. Where is there a maternity wing? Any part of the country, where do we need to construct? Where we need to construct, we use the central health budget, we also use the CDF. Back to the seat, to decentralization. Health is a critical area of decentralization. Because if we can't take the sick to the health center quickly, we could lose that life. We can't afford that. Colleagues, this is it. Health workers, when you are given an opportunity to be employed and you are posted to Chama, stay in Chama. If you leave Chama, you want to come back to Lusaka to see someone or somebody, boyfriend, girlfriend, then you are sending a message to us that you don't want a job. And I'm asking the Minister of Health, at that point, we should take away that job, give it to someone else who is willing to work in Chama. This is not a joke. These young people are employed, they go to a location, they register everything, they start getting a salary, they come back into town. Yes, takes 2 to tango. Attitude 1. 2, where there is no house, there's no water, we're putting houses and water. So they must provide a service there. Teachers is the same. But we also have a policy of uniting families. That's what we've said already. And we'll continue on that policy. We can't do everything in one day. It takes time. It takes time. Education. We said it in opposition. Education is the best investment, inheritance, equalizer. We live by those words. Some of us are products of that. That's why we've introduced free education. It's working. There are more kids in schools now. Good challenge. When that obtains, what do we do? More classroom space. Are we building? Yes, we are. More teachers. Are we recruiting? Yes, we are. Teachers is the same. Stay in your posting. We are connecting internet to all schools. Minister Mutati, is he here? Anyone from technology? Cabinet Office, I think you are aware. We are connecting internet to all secondary schools, government secondary schools, to make e-learning possible. All of them, without exception. A year ago, some of you remember I talked about internet connectivity. I talked about Starlink. You thought it was a story. Starlink is here now. It's here. You can send money, mobile money now, to Shangombo, to Kashinakashi. Easy to install. Even a 9-year-old young person can install the Starlink equipment. I have it on my ranches. So we are putting it in schools. I think the MPs know that all constituencies are now going to get from central government free Starlink connection. All the constituencies. So that the children in the rural areas are not left behind in learning. Now we can have e-learning, e-health, mobile money, which we're taking for granted. Fellow citizens, 2 years, 4 months. The initial plan, I wish the Minister of Communication, Technology and Transport and Communication was here. The initial plan was that we can only do it after 5 years. I said, Mutati, what did you say to me? He repeated, I said, I don't agree with you. I can't. We can do it better. We've done it. E-agriculture. Now our farmer in Chama can learn how to improve productivity on internet in Chama. That's a story, ZNBC. That's a story for which you need to send Zanis. Zanis, Madam Lois, you are Zanis. Send people. Go and challenge what the president has said. Is the internet in these schools? Send a team. Not for allowances, but to establish where the internet is there. The allowances are by the way. I hope you've gotten the message I'm giving you. Run that narrative on ZNBC, on Diamond, on Prime, on any other television. Let the citizens know that Bintubi Kinja, things have changed. New curricula, you have seen it. We've noticed that we had no plumbers. The country was losing plumbers, losing carpenters, skills, losing welders. We have addressed it. 2 years, 4 months. The curricula is being circulated now, which will allow young people at an early age to start studying agriculture, preparing to become farmers, to start studying welding at an early age, bricklaying. You don't run a country from the dark room. You run it from a lightened place. These things are all connected, colleagues. They are all connected. They are not in isolation. So, that curricula, please make comments. If you have a view, make comments. When a kid can't go to university, they are not failures. We shouldn't call them failures. We should encourage them to do an artisanal skill. Where will they do it? This government is investing. All the uncompleted trade schools, all the run-down trade schools, we're rehabilitating. All of them. And we are providing the funding for the kids at a local level, decided in the constituents, to pick the kids who completed school 7 years ago and they're seated because they didn't qualify to university. And I went to Mansa Trades. I went to Secheke Trades just 2 months ago. And I hide my excitement because that's how God made me. I'm sorry. And inside I was singing quietly when I saw these kids talking how happy they are. That 7 years they've been sitting, now they're in the trade school. They are sponsored, not just in the trade, they are sponsored by the CDF fund. And they aspire to run their own business, small business. And we must make it possible for them. How? CDF contracts to build classrooms, to build maternity wings must be given to those kids that are coming out of those schools. And that's why we're changing the law on CDF. We're also changing, we've changed the law on public procurement. Changing the law. Changing the law on public-private partnerships on projects, on infrastructure. I signed these laws yesterday. Yesterday I signed. I reserved the one for access to information for today. I signed the others yesterday, which will make it easier now, walking the talk, creating local economies with our own children who had lost hope in life. 2 years, 4 months. Take your pick. Well, you may call us failures. I'm not sure. On a scale of 10, what did we say we would do? What have we done? Under difficulties, I said more teachers, but also harmonizing teachers. Some teachers are on a salary of a diploma holder for 20 years, even after they've gone for further studies. Minister is here. Now we've dealt with those issues. Minister, can I confirm we've dealt with those issues? Upgrading teachers. You're working on it, eh? You've started the process. Yes. A distortion which was there for years and years. No one paid attention to it. Desks. We pronounced Mr. Mwewa, we pronounced that we will not import desks. Controversial decision, because some people were eating something from those contracts. Now we are making the desks here. Young people are making desks across the country. It's a story for Zanis to pick. Go across the country. Local raw materials, our own timber, our own carpenters. The desks are coming through. We set a target that no child should sit on the floor, and it's happening. Kids, orphaned children in secondary schools who couldn't go to a boarding school, now they're going to boarding schools. The money is there. Who decides? The local people. That kid is an orphan, that one is a single, that one is double orphan, that one the parents can't afford. They now decide to give them bursaries at the local level. Never happened before. In our time, all bursaries were obtained from Lusaka. Now it's happening in the constituencies. Equitably. Colleagues, 2 years, 4 months. You know a kid who is going to secondary school in any part of the country and is not in that boarding school because there's no money, send in the information to the Minister of Education. And I would like to know who is that kid. And she or he will be on the bursary. This is December. January, she'll go back to school. January, that child will go back to school, to that secondary school. Is that not something to celebrate? What are you going to celebrate then as a country? You can't celebrate the future of a kid who is out of school. In Mansa, I saw a 53-year-old woman who said, I got pregnant early and left school. I couldn't go back. Now, with free education, I'm back in school. I'm sure some of you saw that lady, 53-year-old. She's back in school. Good news, great news. Infrastructure, we will continue under the difficulties that we're experiencing now. Public-private partnership projects, away from the national balance sheet. We couldn't do anything on infrastructure because we were in debt distress. We've used this tool, ingenious tool, to do a number of roads, better quality roads. Chingola, Chirilabombwe, Kasumbalesa Road, go and have a look at it. Better quality at a much lower price than our colleagues were doing roads per kilometer, and delivered on time. That road has been delivered on time. You can go and check it again, journalists, go and have a look there. We signed up for Ndola, Sakania, Mufrira Road. Chibuluma Road, I saw a posting. By the way, I check a lot of postings on social media. I saw someone posting, what's happening in Chibuluma Road? Chibuluma Road is already being contracted. It's the first road we are testing on a concrete road because it's a heavy traffic road, heavy loads there, and it gets run down quickly. So we've given a contractor to do that road using concrete. Because concrete, we have the stones, we have the sand, or quarry dust, we have the cement. And the concrete road done properly, it will last 40 years without a pothole. Good investment. So we are testing that on the Chibuluma Road in Kitwe. So Abena Kopalaba Nandi, Chapesha Mano. It's there. The works have started already. But you also know Lusaka and Ndola Road, highway. You've seen the work that has been done around, what is that place? Around the, is that not Bonamukubu? What is that? Who knows Ndola where we are? As you are entering Ndola or leaving Ndola to Lusaka, the quality, there's a lot of industries around there. Yeah. Go and have a look at the quality of that road as a commencement area. And we're doing it, the whole Lusaka and Ndola Road, which the PF had contracted to do at $1.3 billion, 327 kilometers, at $1.3 billion plus interest, $1.8 billion. We're going to do it in $650 million. It's there. You don't have to say maybe. No, it's there. Before debt restructuring. Nombanga to appreciate debt restructuring. Fika Bashan. That's the context. We will continue working, applying different resources. Earlier I talked about, I went to Kusefia Pangwena last year. And Mwine Luwemba asked me, said, this airport, HH, I've had children who have been presidents, ministers coming from this region. This airport has never been done. I said, Mwine Luwemba, you don't have to persuade me. This airport will be done. Early this month, I went to officially open Kasama Airport. Beautiful. Beautiful. But this is just the beginning. As I said, Mansa, Chipata, Chinsali, Choma, Sorweza upgrade a little bit. It will happen. It's happening already. That's what you elected us into office to do, despite the noise in the political environment. If you live in Lusaka, you would think that the UPND government has done zero. You would actually believe that the UPND government has done nothing by the very people who created the debt mountain. And when we try and negotiate German ambassador with yourselves, they say, no, HH and UPND government are stooges of German and stooges of the imperialists. That's the narrative they use now. So me, I say, I'm no stooge of nobody. If you want me to be a stooge, I'm a stooge of the people of Zambia. That I agree. I'm a stooge of the people of Zambia. But we know what needs to be done. If you allow me to be a little bit naughty, if you call these people imperialists and they're evil, why did you go to borrow money from imperialists? Honestly, why did you go there? Didn't you know they were imperialists? But you signed. How do you expect to walk away from that? At least we're cleaning the mess. We think the world is a world of partnership. It's not a world of imperialists. It's not a world of bad people. It's a world of us knowing what we want as a country and then reaching out, negotiating. As we have negotiated as an IMF interest-free facility. We negotiated. Why didn't PF get it? Why? Mbutikai. This is not a joke. We should not be name-calling now. We should be working together to resolve problems. We shouldn't be name-calling now. Let me touch, as I come to near close, peace, security, and stability. We are a peace-loving country. We learned this from KK. We are not warmongers ourselves. We want to maintain a friendly relationship with all our neighbors and the near neighbors. Great Lakes region, we are friends. We found very sour relationships. We don't want to get them any worse. We want them to be better. SADC, East African community, West African community. We don't want military coups on this continent. I dare say so, and I say it with firmness. This is a constitutional democracy. Civilians choose the government, not the army. The one who controls keys to the armory does not own those guns. Those guns belong to the citizens. Those guns should never be used on citizens. Those guns are meant to protect citizens from aggressors from outside Zambia. I say so with firmness. We don't want the military crews of Niger. One opposition leader here, when there was a coup in Niger, in Gabon, he was saying, next is Zambia. Are you normal? Does your brain work? Go and live in Mali. Go and live in Central African Republic. Go and live in Chad. Our own men and women are fighting in Central African Republic under the UN peacekeeping force. That's our duty to society, to the world. We've sent our own children in harm's way there to stabilize Central African Republic, because instability anywhere is instability everywhere. We've seen it. The war in Ukraine is affecting us. The war in Gaza, Israel, is affecting us. How can anyone who wants to be a leader emulate a coup in Niger? What country do you want to lead? Once a country degenerates into a military coup, it will never come out. It will be on and off, on and off. Try and live in those environments. Zambia is admired. Let me say to you, Zambians, those of us who travel outside there, the first thing people know, you are HH from Zambia, and say, thank you, sir, for maintaining peace, security and stability, for investment, for economy, for jobs. I want to urge my colleagues in the opposition, do not emulate a violent way of taking over a government. It will come back to bite you, and it will bite you very badly. Women and children are suffering in Ukraine there. I went to Ukraine myself, together with 6 other presidents on the African continent. Never happened before. A conflict in Europe, Africa is helping to solve that conflict. First time in the history of our global politics. It doesn't mean the Europeans are not capable of solving that problem. It means everybody understands we are one. When we were evacuating our students from Ukraine, thank you, German ambassador, Poland, German, EU assisted us a lot to save our people who found themselves in a war situation in Ukraine. So, you know, colleagues, journalists, some things when they are given to you, don't write them. If someone says, we expect a coup in Tanzania, in Zambia, in Botswana, don't write it. Don't write that story. Don't write it. Tell them to publish it on their own phone. It's not a joke. We need a safer world. We don't need a polarized world. We want a safer world to allow resources not to go for war, to support war, but to support development, investment, trade, economic growth. We're serving as chair of the SADC Troika, politics, defense, and security. We're doing our job. Our men and women, Vice President, you know, are serving in Cabo Delgado. They're in harm's way. Zambian citizens, your cousins, your brothers, are serving in northern Mozambique. That's our duty to society, to the region. And I'm proud, we're proud of them. We're proud of them. We stabilize Cabo Delgado, we stabilize Eastern Province. We stabilize Malawi. We stabilize our region. Then we can focus on trading with each other, investing with each other. Resources are limited. We can't be stretching resources on war. Kaunda taught us that. We walk Kaunda's road. Colleagues, let's be serious a bit. So we don't support war. We don't support instability anywhere. That's the position of a country. Your foreign policy, so you know, is anchored on 2 legs only. 1, peace, security, stability. 2, economic diplomacy. That's all. Chap. Woman. And we will participate in securing peace and stability in all parts of the world, starting with our own country, in the neighborhood, SADC, Africa, the world. We will vote at the UN against war, and we are voting against war. With other peace-loving nations of the world, we stand shoulder to shoulder to those. I wanted to explain this because I see social media, when we vote at the UN against war, others post, no. You see, HH is an imperialist stooge. What do you mean? The day you become president, if God allows it, you'll understand the obligation you carry as head of state. It's not something you joke about, because people die. Dislocation, refugees. We wish our colleagues in Congo, Congo DRC, peace, stability. We've seen a lot of them are entering our country already. Kasumbalesa there. Every day, as I speak, they're entering our country because they're feeling insecure there. If Congo blows up, we blow up here in some way. We share 1,900 kilometers of a border with Congo. That's not something you play around with. I see what people post on social media. Let's be responsible. Let's restrain ourselves. We'll work hard to secure, to support peace in Eastern Congo, peace in Cabo Delgado, peace everywhere. But charity begins at home. Our neighbors, Congo DR. Post-elections, we work to behind the scenes without you knowing, 02, 03. Just, Machila, foreign minister is not here. 2 days ago, 0102, that's when we were receiving the envoy from Congo DR, from President Tshisekedi, 0102, to compare notes on how we can help to keep law and order in that country. That's what goes on when you are asleep. That's what the presidency means. It's not something you joke around, you play with. You try your lucky. If you have no principles, you break. But in breaking, you put your citizens and others in the harm's way. 0102. And that's normal. I won't tell you the content of the conversation, but it's to make sure that we remain positive, the Congolese remain safe. And we'll do everything, whatever we can. Partners around the world. It's a difficult situation there. But our hearts are with them, our minds are with them, whatever else we can do. SADC has sent troops there. We managed to get, the Minister of Foreign Affairs is not here, we managed to negotiate. My meeting with Secretary General Guterres in Abu Dhabi just 15 days ago was to talk about Congo and other areas. And I asked the Secretary General, can we extend the UN mission there to allow for election before, during, after elections? And I'm proud to say to you, following that meeting, in my role as Troika leader, but also as a citizen of Zambia and president of this country, your servant, the UN has extended their mission, peace mission, up to December 2024 in Congo. So while you elected us to run your affairs, invariably you put us in a position to also work with the global community. That's a responsibility that Kaunda told us as he hosted the ANC here of South Africa, as he supported Mozambique, and we lost lives, as he supported the Zimbabwe liberation struggle, Angolan liberation struggle. So we continue, in a different way, of course, but walking the same path. Let me stress, citizens, as we close, delivery for the people is what we were elected to do. Ministers, PSs. There's nothing saying in government, that's how we do things. You want to change something, you stand in the way and say, no, 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 we don't do things like this in government. Why hasn't the economy improved since you have been doing things in a certain way? We must do things in a way that delivers value. Simple, straight. Delivery is what we're here for. We understand the situation citizens are going through. We understand. But this is a process we have to go through. And we'll do everything possible to support the social side during this transition as we flip the coin to focusing on economic growth. As I said, we expect 2024 a higher growth than 2023. In many countries, they're failing to achieve even 0.5%. It's difficult. The world is going through very serious problems. Inflationary pressures, cost of living, but we're trying our best. We work with you diligently to do that, to ameliorate the challenges. We are confident that we shall overcome And when we do, no more debt crisis. No more. And I want to appeal to the citizens of Zambia. As you go to vote in 2026, reflect. Don't take us back to the mess. Look at the price we're paid now. At that point, doesn't matter. It's not about who is a cousin, who is an ethnic group member, because I see people are parroting ethnicity now as the only weapon for elective office competition, ethnicity. Can you eat ethnicity? Ngamuntu aleiba. Number, do they share with you? When they do corruption, do they share with you what they take? They just buy Rolls Royce. Why would a normal person drive a Rolls Royce in this country? How do you service a Rolls Royce? What is the price of a tire for a Rolls Royce? Then you know there's a problem. That's why I don't want the Gulf Stream. How can I go to the EU meeting in Brussels in the latest jet called the Gulf Stream, costing so much money? Then I go in the meeting and I'm asking for budget support. So they look at me, cheap. Honestly, it's not a joke. Some things we should never do. Some things we should never do. Citizens, self-control. If a minister doesn't drive a VX, does that remove a ministerial value in him or her? You go to England, see what the ministers drive there. Go to the UK, go to Germany, see what the ministers drive there. Why are you pretending here? That's just a piece of metal. I'm talking about cost control. I'm talking about moving money from a $250,000 VX to a car worth $50,000. We'll have saved $200,000. $200,000, we can send more kids to college. We can sink more boreholes, Madam Masebo, for your clinics. I must confess, inside my colleagues, this issue of VXs was making colleagues whisper against me. And I'm aware. They think I'm not aware. I'm aware. I'm very much aware. But you can't move me on those things. Go and buy your own VX. Make yourself happy. After you knock off, no one restricts you. I said it in that room. Minister wants a new VX. Army commander wants a new VX. Secretary of Cabinet wants a new VX. Mayor wants a new VX. Deputy mayor wants a new VX. You put those figures together, soon you'll be talking about $50 million. Let us be prudent as a government, as individuals at the family level. Buy a tractor instead of buying a VX. Using your own money. Buy a tractor to bring you more money. You buy a VX, boom, 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 2 liters. Boom, 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 5 liters. Calculate the money. It will never come back. I'm talking about prudence. At the government level, at the private level. Certainly, that's what I know myself. You want to hear my personal story, that's what I know. And it works. One day my son comes from school, college, he says, Daddy, I went to lunch with my friend, he was driving a Hummer. So I said, sit down here. I said, so what's the story? He tells me, so I said, what's the color? He says, how was it? Did you go inside? He said, yes. How is it inside? Oh, leather seats, very nice. I said, why don't we buy a Hummer here? I said, do you have money to buy a Hummer, Sonny? What do you want to use it for? To show off. To show off to who? That boy was younger. Today, he's grown up a little bit. He sees friends driving a hammer, he comes and tells me, Daddy, there was one boy posing with a hammer. I told him, you're wasting money. You should have bought a cattle, you should have bought a tractor here. Now he's lecturing to his friends. We can change this country. We can change this country. Attitudes, tests, pretense, citizens. We can do better. Whatever I've said here today, we can do 10 times more, 20 times more. And this country will be a better place to live in. And no one has to leave this country as a refugee. No. Unless it's normal, they're going to school, they're going to do Makwevo, then they come back home. That's what we want. That's our aspiration. We share this with the Vice President and the Cabinet. I must say to colleagues, citizens, there's no escaping hard work. We have to work hard. Work after work and more work is the only way. There's no magic. Ask the developed countries, hard work. If you haven't traveled, you think other countries became rich because they were lucky. There's nothing like that. Hard work. I urge Zambians, let's work hard. Unity is important. I'm listening. I'm following. Resources are being distributed to all parts of Zambia. We are proud of that. But someone wants to run a narrative that there's a favored region or regions, other regions are not favored. Where? Tell us. Give us the facts. Where? Which region is discriminated? Which region is not receiving CDF? Tell me. Tell us. We'll address that issue. Let us keep our country one Zambia, one nation, and one people. Let us unite our people. Church, political parties, civil society, professional bodies. Let us work to unite our country. Keep our country peaceful, stable, secure. Then we focus on development. Epela. If Fimbifia Shala, we can deal with them. But the risk to the country to disintegrate because you want to be president, because someone who you said can never be president is president today. That's the only issue that is out there. That's the only issue. Because you said some regions can never produce a president, and you made yourself believe that that was correct. Compete. Don't use that sort of uncivilized mind to disturb the country. Well, go and tell the students that you will take away free education. Go and tell the widow that you will take away free education when you come into office. Let's see what answer you get. Go and tell a university student that you will withdraw meal allowances. See what answer you get. Go and tell the men and women who are serving in Central African Republic in harm's way that the new government, UPND government, has given us full allowances. Now you're going to withdraw those allowances. Go and tell them that and see what they will say to you. Ethnicity is a thing of the mind. We're one people. This country has matured. It will not listen to an ethnic agenda. This country will listen to complaints about millimil. It's a fair complaint. Complaints about exchange rate. It's a fair complaint. Complaint about, if you like, employment. It's a fair complaint. And we're working on those issues. Don't hide. We know. Because you said HH will never be president. This is the most balanced cabinet compared with the last cabinet. Compare it. There are 9 ministers, 8 ministers from the northern region, from the Bemba-speaking region. 9 in this cabinet. In a cabinet of 25 ministers only, there are 9 from the Bemba speakers. So who has more than a fair share? Who? So what is the issue? What is the agitation? I think the media has a very important role to play to expose people who are hiding behind. If the corruption fight is getting the corrupt, it's not an ethnic issue. People are saying the president is not removing the people he employed. I've removed a minister. I've removed a deputy minister, a provincial minister. I have removed 2 PSs at mines. 1 from Western Province, if that matters to you, for some of you. 1 from Southern Province. I've removed them. I've removed PSs. 2 PSs from health. 2 days ago, I removed the ZAF commander. I removed him. That's my constitutional right. And I know why. I don't have to explain. Another Zambian has come in. 1 Zambian goes out, Nyoni comes in. What's the problem there? So what is the issue there? Parroting stories? No, 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 no. We've been segregated. The assumption being made because they were segregating people. They think that the new Dawn government is also going to segregate people. No, we're different. And for me, when I was appointing ministers, I knew that this day would come. Someone would try and use that as an issue. We are way ahead of people. And there are not many. It's a small clique who believes the government must be controlled by them only and no one else. So where is one Zambia, one nation, one people? Where is equity there? Use other arguments. Don't use this one. Honestly speaking. Use other arguments. And we'll listen to you. I want to wish Zambians compliments of the season. Happy New Year. Have a good Christmas. Please do it responsibly. Drive carefully. Drive carefully. Don't cause unnecessary accidents. Thank you. Thank you. Havana Kopala. Colleagues, I promise that before I go, work being done will get results. Here's what my colleague, Minister of Mines, has brought me. The Mopani transaction has been signed. Good news. Mopani, KCM, Shaft 28, 1.5 billion in Shaft 28, all of that stuff. Copper Belt will be back where it should be, should have been, and more. So today, in confirming what has already been announced, the Mopani transaction has a cover value of $1.1 billion. That's the cover value, which will be split between equity and debt in some proportions. I won't bore you with that. But more importantly, this is the first transaction since the 1990s that your government, first time, give me something else, first time that we have been able to agree a share split, the investor 51%, the government, your government 49%. Give me another transaction that is in that range. That's what you will see going forward. With 40 tenements, we've invited the Americans, the Germans, the Chinese, the Japanese, the French, the Italians to partner with us. And we'll be looking for 50-50 split. These are greenfields. This is an old mine which was messed up by those who make noise every day. Nsone ebuntu. Hey. Honestly. But for the new transactions, we're looking for a range of 40-60 up to 50-50 or 40-60 within there. Deliberately. There you are now, 49, 51%. Second issue, we're going to work with the colleagues here for the country to be involved in the commodity trading. I don't want to complicate the conversation. Commodity trading. You remember Memako? There's money in commodity trading. So we mine, 1. 2, we commodity trade. 3, we're working on a JV for value addition, for processing of our minerals. You must clap for that. That's where the value is. We're using this as a test case, a partnership at 3 levels. We want to do that everywhere. But we are not going to break and create issues where the transactions were already done. We negotiate. But the new ones, we say to our partners, this is what we're asking you to partner us with. We can negotiate, but not beyond this and that. That's the government you elected. We've negotiated. And this, I sent a signal to my colleagues in the negotiation team, Committee of Ministers, Technical Committee, that we have to do what was done wrongly. The PF agreed to a transaction value on Mopane of $1.5 billion liability. We took on a liability of $1.5 billion. Wrong transaction. Right? I'm not joking. It's not a joke. We have now been able to negotiate this liability down from $1.5 billion to $400 million. That's the transaction happening there. My dear colleagues, this is only the beginning. Your government will work hard. Secretary to the Cabinet, we don't want transactions to take longer. It costs money, time, money, opportunity costs. That's my basic training. Longer you take to do things, you don't incur just these numbers. The opportunity cost in this transaction is more than $1.5 billion. If you want, it's more than $1.1 billion. 1.5 less 1.1 less 400 is 1.1 billion. It's more than that. Because we were not producing enough, we were not employing enough, we were not giving enough contracts. The opportunity cost is a lot more. The true cost is higher than this. So, there you are. We're committed to serving you to the best of our ability. But the point I wanted to make, Secretary to the Cabinet, transactions are taking too long. We should involve the private sector to help us, government. You see, these guys in government have a problem. We have a problem. The habit is that the government is the owner of this process. No, the owner is the people. And the private sector people who are capable to work with us, I have directed you, sir, coming January, I want to see Zambian private professionals working with us on transactions like this, so that they can help us close transactions quickly. That's why we sent them to school. So we need to see that, so that they can assist us even negotiate better deals. We don't have all the wisdom ourselves. We can borrow and pick from them. Minister of Mines and team, I know you receive a lot of sticks and blows, but I want to thank the Committee of Ministers who have been working on this transaction, the Technical Committee, Secretary to the Cabinet who chaired it, many advisors, including Zambians, although they were being resisted. And I invite some Zambians, I don't want to mention their names, some of them are seated here, that will be asking you to help us when we have transactions. I know someone who knows, but there's been a slowdown. This time I'll make sure that you are on some transactions. Legally, nothing illegal here. We're not an illegal government, but we need the skills. So congratulations to you, sir. I know you didn't sleep, you can take a nap after this one. I had already wished Zambians Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, do it responsibly, don't drive, drunken drive, don't pick quarrels, love each other, support a neighbor who needs support, you know that neighbor. Things change, tomorrow you're in a position to support them. Believe me, 10 years from now, they'll be in a position to support you or someone. That's how it works. That's a problem we have with some Zambians, because they said these people will never form government. So now to accept that the very people they said will never form government are in government is difficult, it's becoming difficult. And they're making things difficult for everybody, not necessary. I can tell you, things change. Today's child of a rich family, father and mother, the child they admonish next door will be like them 10 years from now. Things reverse themselves. So we must be responsible when we are able to help. Help when you are able to help. That's how God worked life. Over time, things equalize, they harmonize. God bless you all. God bless Zambia. Thank you very much. I'm ready to sign. Chris, I'm ready to sign.
Hello. Thank you, Excellency. Thank you, Excellency. I think the President has given a very detailed report to the nation that has showed progress from what we've been able to achieve this year. And I think you all agree with me that he deserves another round of applause, a big hand. For 23 years, this bill has been going in and out of Parliament. People have been skirting around it, regime after regime. Promises have been made, pronouncements have been made, but nobody has been able to bring it to fruition and sign it into law. Today, the 22nd of December, we bid farewell to the bill as it ceases to be a bill and today becomes law, as His Excellency the President signs the access to information into law. So members of the press, we are very aware, especially on behalf of the citizens of Zambia, that you have been advocating for the access to information bill to be signed into law, and the President promised that as soon as it is brought before him, he will assent to it and sign. And as announced earlier, we are now witnessing a historical event where His Excellency the President is signing the ATI into law. From henceforth, this is no longer a bill, but access to information in Zambia is law. May I invite the Honorable Minister of Information and Media to join His Excellency there, just to show the access to information to the people. Honorable Minister, sir, if you may join His Excellency. Representative Katoto. Symbolically. Luis. Oh. So symbolically, the access to information is a document that the people of Zambia have asked for. It affects the people of Zambia, it affects government, it affects civil society, it affects all of us. And today we have witnessed a historical event and it has been signed into law. Symbolically, we can see the picture being taken there representing the government and civil society, meaning that the people and its government have signed unto themselves the law on access to information. A big hand, ladies and gentlemen.